Yes, we're so happy to get our Global Leaders Series program back on, and tonight we're going to be talking about release. So we're really excited. The Global Leaders program is a program series that we want to bring to you in hopes that learn about different cultures. We're a very diverse community, and it's really nice to go about different things with different cultures and get to know our neighbors. So tonight's presenter, if you're not familiar with Bob Carr's, you're most likely familiar with his restaurant. Bob Carr's owns and operates the Mill Inspire, Turkey's restaurant chains, as well as Old Republic in Alton, with the Carrot Garden, and Alexander's Cafe located in Elgin and St. Charles. Bob was born and raised here in Elgin. It was his father, Paul, and Uncle George, the Harris brothers, who immigrated from Greece in search of an American dream and the land of opportunity. They did not disappoint. Their success was a testament to the entire family's unwavering dedication to over 5 decades to sharing true green hospitality, treating restaurant customers like guests of their own home. Paul Karras' legacy lives on in his son, Bob, and his daughters, Desmita and Eleni, who are all part of the Karras restaurant group. Bob loves to invest in the community and has generously offered to enlighten us tonight about Greece and its numerous delicacies. He has brought plenty of delicious foods for us to try. So after the program is finished, we will have talk, and then we will have a dance performance by some young kids, which will have offered to come out and showing their dance. So after the program, please stop by the back, and we also have, by chance, some donated books about Greece. So if you feel free to check it out, and if you want to just take one for yourself, go ahead. They're donated books, and you can have that for yourself. I don't need to check it out. And also, let's see. Yeah, that's about it. So after the program,
Thank you very much, Sadia. As she said, I'm very Bob, and not great. I was born here, like she said, and I'm just going to talk about Greece a little bit, mostly touristic facts, and then I will have my Uncle George come up here and tell you a little bit about their immigration to America and what that process was like, maybe why they came. And I always ask them, why did you pick Elgin? But I really still have it.
I'll tell you.
I want to thank Sadia she hounded me for like 2 years to do this. If anybody knows me, they know it's hard to pin me down to anything basically that I don't want to do. But I did want to do this, but she just shrieked it. Anyway, okay. So Greece. Maybe a lot of people know about Greece, but never been there, but want to go there. Well, I can tell you from experience, you definitely need to go there. Put it on your list. Because I think it's not too prejudiced, but the most beautiful country in the world. So when I was younger, I remembered a lot of the Greek the seas swimming at the beaches. Then here when we went to the beach, it was usually around Lake Geneva and the lakes around, and like, we're supposed to go in that water. It's big, but seriously, the Greek beaches, I don't care where they are, to me they're the most beautiful beaches. And I've been to other countries, Florida, Mexico, Caribbean is close, but no water like Greek water. It's just the most beautiful beaches, water you'll ever see. Greece is in southern Europe. As most people know, there are 1,000 islands in the Aegean and Ionian seas. Only from 6,000 islands, only 200 of them are habitated. As most people know, Greeks know everything.
I think that.
So like Greece is called often the cradle of civilization. There's a lot of things that started in Greece that were carried out still to this day. Athens is the capital of Greece. The size of Greece is about 51,000 square miles, which is the size of Chicago. And the population is about the size of Chicago. So, although it is up to about 10 million people, Greece is known as the birthplace of democracy and Western philosophy, Western literature, historiography, political science, and major scientific and mathematical principles. A lot of people have seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Well, that movie is very accurate. So a lot of that stuff tells you everything you need to know about Greek families in America and Greek parents and Greek kids. I would often speak. My mom is English. She would talk to me in Greek, and she didn't understand half the things I said. Still, she doesn't. She's here. You can meet her later. And a lot of times I was a translator at Kmart at the customer service desk. Being said she didn't want to pay for it. So things in Greece, let me give you one example that everything part of that philosophy is how the length of the marathon came about. Some people may know the story, but a marathon is 26 miles. So what happened, like every thing in Greece had some kind of story or background. So this was the length that the messenger ran from the sea when he saw the Persian ships turn around, and he ran to the council 26 miles nonstop and said his message after they won the war, and he fell and died. So that is how we got the link America from that guy. Greece has 18 World Heritage Sites, most in the world. The main ones are the Acropolis, Temple of the Apollo, Madeira, Old Town of Corfu, and that's it. You like that, man. 80% of Greece is made out of mountains. No part of Greece is more than 85 miles away from the ocean or sea. So you're always 85 miles away, textbook, and that's where you are. All the beaches in Greece surrounding the country are public beaches. Nobody owns them but the government. So, funny, if you went to Greece, and my cousin's just here, so we would go to the beach, but there'd be proprietors of the beach where they'd have chairs and umbrellas. And if you sit there, you had to spend money, or you can't sit there. But if you go on the back of the beach and you just lay out there to the towels, you can go there for free. They cannot tell you, really, this is a public beach, right? Right. And so we were there to fight. All public-owned beach. Greece has about 33 million tourists a year. It's the only country that triples its population in tourism. 20% of the gross domestic product comes from tourism. People know that Greece is known for olives and olive trees. Greece is the 5th largest producer of olives and olive oil. Some of the main countries ahead of Greece, like Italy and Spain, and what I heard, they buy our olive oil and market Italian.
See, I was in the bikes to play. I mean, most Dutch fans.
Greece has more, or Athens has more theaters in the city than any other city in the world, including the West End in London and Broadway in New York. Greece is also one of the sunniest places in the world. Greece has more archaeological museums than any other country in the world, around 110.
Nice.
One thing I always found amusing in Greece was anytime they do any kind of construction, they dig and they find some rocks. They're like, stop. This is great heritage history. So they stop, they put ribbons around the area, and the guys, they stop working, they go home for the summer, and that thing may sit for years and they cannot build on it.
It's just kind of.
And then they usually just find something out there. It's usually not much value.
I think it's
That most of that stuff has been dug up. One part of Greece where we went in the Acropolis last year was new Acropolis Museum, and they built the platform above, and you can see underneath its glass, and you can see this whole intricate build-up archaeological site. I mean, it was pretty impressive to see that many people lived there. They had things laid out. The Greek language is one of the oldest languages to be used consistently. It's about 5,000 years. Very difficult language. I have a hard time on it still in the same. People say, do you know Greek? I go, yeah, I know Greek. I can't, keep up with Greece, and Greece, they definitely know I'm not Greek. And I'm from there. They know I'm American because the way I speak. They say, can you read? I go, yeah, I can read about as good as a third grade. That's pretty good. Those Americanaki, which is so that concludes my part of this. My Uncle George, who's here, my dad's brother, he is going to come up and tell you about the immigration process that brought us here in the 1960s, early 60s. So, I'll just come on up.
Good evening, everybody. My name is George, like Bob said. My brother and I, Paul, started the Just Warriors back in 1974. But before I would like to tell you about family, how we came to America. Our parents were born in Russia. Bobby's grandparents, my dad, in 1940, they were Greeks. They came to Greece. The guy who was Zorba the Greek, everybody knows Zorba the Greek? Yes. The song and Sophia. That guy went to Russia and asked the government like Stalin and all those communists to allow the Greek people to come to Greece. So that's how they came to Greece in 1940. So now, how we came to America? Well, all the way to the army. After that, he did not like living in Greece, very poor place. So he said, "I want America." America those years had the Marshall Plan. If you are familiar with it, which plan enabled people from other countries, not only from Greece, but I think all over the world, to be able to come here and start a new life here. So that's how he did the papers, and in 1961 came to America. Now, why Elgin, Illinois? So he went to Ellis Island not knowing anybody. We are from northern Greece. most of the people, the Greek people in America, are from the south. Peloponnese, the islands, very few people were from north. So we didn't know anybody. So he went out and they told him, "Where do you want to go?" He said, "I want to work for a factory." No English, right? So some Greek guy sent him to Philadelphia. So in Philadelphia, there was a grocery store guy, and he said, "What do you want to work? What do you want to do?" He said, "Factory." What? Factory, Chicago, Chrysler, you know. So he said, "Stay with me for about 2 weeks, and then somebody from Elgin, Illinois, an insurance guy, will come here, and then we'll send you back with this guy." That's how Orthodox came to Elgin, Illinois. The insurance guy went to Philadelphia, 50 bucks, and they came back to Elgin, and what did they go? To Cow Grill. Remember Cow Grill restaurant?
Yes.
So, went there and said, "Oh, but this wasn't him, so that's how he came here. Then he invited my sister. We're 6 in the family, 4 sisters and 2 brothers. That's how we came divided. So I'd like to say something about this library. In 1974, when this library was 100 years old, right? We're celebrating now, what, 150 years, right?
Right.
So it was 100 years old. We said we'll go to restaurant. So we started in the US Square in Dundee. So that place was like an English pub, and we wanted to know more about the English pub, how they operated in England, and what's the lesson in the place, whether they smoke cigars, or the dogs in their place, what kind of food they serve. And I was looking for books. So I wanted that the library, and they did have, sport page. They said, "Go to us." So I kept in next door, was that good, was where the park is now, the old library building. And there was a lady, she came to come talk to us, she said, "You know what, I see that you really want to learn about this place with your business. I'm going to find you books." And I said, "What?" She said, "Chicago library system. They have everything." So she called me back. She found the books in Chicago. I went to Chicago and I got 4 or 5 wonderful books. And I was reading, and then that's how I think we built the heart of the Builder's Squire. And we have been in business for 50 years, not only community years, just with the body. You have some soul and heart. I learned this from this lady that from Elgin Library when this place was 100 years old. So thank you, Elgin Library. Thank you.
Tell me about all the salad, cover beans.
Okay, now, when we came to America, most of the British have a very long name. Like, our name is Karapujigikis. So when I came here, my brother Paul said, "George, you have to cut the net and then make it carrots." American people don't like long names. They're going to tell you, "How do you spell it?" Every time. That was I went to the bank, I went to the library, I went to school, So after a couple of years, we cut it and we made it carrots. And after so many years, Bobby, which is hard work and love for restaurants. Now he is the CEO of the Carrots restaurant. So we are grateful we are here that this country enabled us not only to do business here and bring families together, but also to build a church. I remember when we first got the idea to build a church in Sophia, And we got our lawyers, and how do we start? He said, go through these two buildings and ask them what you want to do. Ask the legal counsel. So we came here with another penny, our church. And because the land was not big enough, the architect put the church looking southeast. As soon as the lawyer saw that, he said, can I ask you, I know that Orthodox churches should look straight east. Why did you put this looking southeast? And then my friend Antonio Theodore said, well, the land was not big enough. That's why the architect signed it. He took his hands, put it down and said, go back and put the church, look straight east. You guys want to do business in Elgin, you want to do anything that it takes to put a beautiful church there, because we love your picnics, love the people that you, the big dances, the food. So we felt so empowered because the city was behind us to do something that we dreamed of for many years. So we are very grateful to be here, to be in America. And Paul Keras, when he came here in 1961 with my sister, there were 2,000 people. And now, when we invite people for Thanksgiving, for Easter, for Lamb outside, we're about 50, 60 of us. So this is really good for big family. Any question here? Yes.
Did your family have a trade in Greece before you came here?
Yes, because, well, my father, the only thing we did when we were adult was stuffing. We raised the pork, we had pigs, and then cows, but farming had that had nothing to do with the way you farm. I'm talking about you have like 3 acres of land, 5 acres of land, and then you cultivate, you use it all. Like tomatoes, peppers, beans, corn, wheat, bake your own bread. And then we had a house by the mountain. And you have chickens and pigs and donkeys and all this. So it was fun. And then I suppose after people went to school, and then they did other things. Any other questions?
How old were you arrived in the States?
When I arrived here, I was 23 years old. And almost also I feel it, 20, 26. Yeah.
ปัญญาทศ
I know him personally. My dad came here on his own, by himself, on a boat, with really no money, no late reach. I mean, I think I know what I'm doing, but you cannot send me to a foreign country.
Yes, I can.
That I was 23, no education, no language, no money, no people, and to anything, let alone what he did. Work a lot. They work a lot. Day and night. Growing up, I didn't see him a whole lot. Like my kids, you don't see me a lot.
In fact, like us.
He worked and he worked and he worked, and he enjoyed it. He loved it. I just couldn't imagine we left this out. That beach.
Speaking of that, I remember 3-4 months after my brother came here, my mother never went to school, so she didn't know how to read. And my father knew, but he couldn't see very well, so I was the one who was, I was the secretary. I was reading the letters. And I remember about 3-4 months after Paul was here, he wrote a letter and he was saying that she wanted to come to Greece because she said she couldn't take it here. She can't know anyone. And he said, but there is a lady and her name is Helen. And my mother's name was Helen too. And she was Helen Orthodox. If anybody relative, it was a big lady. So what she did, she had like a mission to get to stickle people who were coming from Greece, to have them in her house at the triple roads. I mean, some business too. But she encouraged them to stay here, and she made them walk from her house downtown, because he said, you can't go Greece, what's the matter with you? Jack, you walk a couple miles. Even with it, right? So he said that this lady inspired him, encouraged him, and this is why he remained in America. I mean, you're talking about take some time, right? Turns, I mean, you make a decision, and something comes and you change, and that was his life. He always mentioned that.
Okay, Sadie is coming back up. Sadia, Alex.
Hey, Roxanne.
She's gonna introduce the dancers, and when they're done, we have in the back just some light. Nothing's complete. It's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. 2 sweets. She said, make sure you don't make a pass. You take it home. She don't want to eat here. I didn't even eat here. We have some pita, feta, olives, pepperoncini, spinach pies, a variety of desserts, Greek desserts, and some other stuff.
Thanks for the generosity, Bob. That was great.